The role of music in worship really is dependent on the style of church. Music, the way we look at music, the way we look at worship, it's just another way that we kind of talk to God and tell Him what we love about Him, tell Him what we appreciate about Him. We just do it with singing. And that's kind of how we talk about worship. When we're using music at LCBC, one of the things that we have a tendency to look at is say, okay, on the front end of a worship gathering, what we'll do is say, okay, let's introduce a song that maybe introduces a little bit of tension into the process. Maybe something that people will hear in church and maybe haven't thought, wow, I didn't expect to hear that in church. It could be a secular song. And the way we look at that really is, it's a lot the way Jesus would teach through parables. Jesus would teach through parables and using a real life, real world experience. And then He would kind of step into some of the deeper truths about who God is and who He was as Jesus. And we kind of do the same progression where we'll introduce a thought and then we'll begin to flesh it out with the choice of songs that actually brings us a little bit closer into talking about who God is and kind of what we're going to talk about that particular weekend. So we really see it as kind of a funnel where we start here and we want to kind of bring people along and ourselves along to this point in the gathering itself. We don't lose sight of the title. One of the things we talk about at LCBC is that the why drives the what. And part of the what for us is that excellence matters. And we believe that excellence matters to God. I think God tells us that excellence matters to Him. But as we take a look at excellence and how we define it, it's not excellence for the sake of excellence. It's taking the best that we can and doing the best with what we've been given to create an experience. One of the things that I love about the way our worship teams and worship leaders approach worship, as we take a look at these churches all around the country, we're really one of the few churches that uses volunteers in their worship bands. A lot of the churches that we benchmark with around the country are hiring their weekend musicians. And we just don't do that because one part of our thought in that is just, man, there's some amazing folks that are in the community that love for nothing more than to be able to offer their gift of playing, and they play really, really well. So that's just something we're committed to, and giving people the opportunity to express their love for God by using their gift.
Certainly at LCBC, music has a very high level of influence in what we do. We really feel like through songs, it's a way that we communicate and talk with God, and we express our hearts and feelings towards Him, and feelings of love and adoration and just thankfulness for what He's done in our lives. And so each week we try and craft a set of songs that kind of aligns itself with the message and really can help people express and engage with God during that time. Engaging in singing is why we do what we do. I love supporting the main instrument, which is the church. We're all playing a small role in helping them engage with the song, and when they do, it's a really sweet moment when you get to help and be the avenue for them to kind of talk with God. It's a pretty special thing, and it's a privilege for sure. Today we're celebrating the act of baptism, which is basically people saying, I've aligned myself with God and I want to go public with it. And so a lot of our songs kind of have centered around His love for us, His love that never fails and never gives up, and just around grace and themes associated with that. And so yeah, we try and do that each week, kind of align songs with where we're headed within a gathering.